And speaking of which, also, if you notice, another reason for Cena introducing Cody would be because nobody knew Cody was in the building at that point. He had not been on the show.
Oh, everyone saw that bus. That bus is like 8 blocks long.
Well, but you know what?
It's like the size of a tree in your yard, that bus.
Hey, now he's going to go request a bigger bus. Now that you said that. But no, now we know Cody's in the building. It's in the back of our mind. And there, the main event is Sami Zayn versus Jimmy. And remember, the ultimatum from Roman Reigns is, Jimmy, if you don't solve the Sami Zayn problem, I'm going to blame you. And this is the main event of the 3-hour television program, by the way. And they they started this thing with 15 minutes or less maybe left on the air. They got into a fight, went to the floor, and he backdropped Uso over the rail in 15 seconds, and they went to the break. On the main event of the match that they've been milking all night that has the most interest. And when they come back from the break, Uso's beating the shit out of Sami, but Sami starts an immediate comeback. And by the way, he needs to wear a shirt. Of all the people that would benefit from wrestling in a T-shirt, Sami Zayn is one of them. But he makes comeback, crossbody, 2 count. And then Solo acts like he's going to interfere. The referee kicks Solo out. Sami hits a blue thunder bomb, gets a 2 count, and they go to the break again. That's only been 2 minutes since we just came back. They must have gone long, got fucking behind, got overloaded, whatever. But when they came back 6 minutes on the air, it's 6 minutes till 11 o'clock Eastern. We've literally only seen 2 minutes of this fucking match on the screen. And when they come back within a minute, Jey is coming down the bleachers from, the entryway, the front door of the arena or whatever, instead of the locker room. And when that is happening, Sami hits a sunset flip on Jimmy, 1, 2, 3. So the match was literally 3 fucking minutes on the air. And then Jimmy and Jey stare at each other. Jey's standing on the announce desk and Jimmy's in the ring. And then Jey gets in the ring and they face each other off. And then Jey grabs Jimmy's shirt and they look at each other forever. And then Jey gets out and goes over to the aisleway where Sami is. And he finally looks at Sami and finally hugs Sami, gives him the big hug. And they put the number 1 fingers up and the fans are chanting, holy shit, holy shit.
Did you hear what he said to him? He said, I trust you.
He said, yeah. He said, I trust you. I thought he said, I chose you, or I choose you.
Is that what he said? I thought he said, I trust you.
I thought he said, I choose you.
Huh.
But nevertheless,
it wasn't mic'd. I mean, that's the point. I mean, you kind of hear something.
It was the microphone on the camera, the floor camera that was close to him. But nevertheless, we'll go back and check the tape on that. But then all of a sudden, Jey super kicks Sami. And what, for once, the foot right under the jaw, Sami Zayn sold it like $1 million. It looked great.
You're not even doing it justice in terms of the crowd. The crowd exploded when he hugged Sami.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were all over it.
It was a monster pop. It was like an all-time pop. It sounded incredible. And then they gave it enough time.
Yeah.
It died down. And then the second one, it's not necessarily a pop, but the big reaction from that same crowd for the turn.
And boom, and they thought, and I love the way they did this because they gave them what they thought they were getting, and then they gave them the other things. They got both, and you got the reaction of both. But then they throw Sami in, and they start killing him, and then, wouldn't you know who won the pony? Well, we know he's in the building. Here comes Cody. And Cody hits the ring to protect Sami Zayn, and then, of course, my DVR froze because they took so long milking that. But I assume that they didn't beat Cody up and leave him laying like they would have over on the other channel.
What did you think about the idea it was Cody? And obviously they set it up and it should be Cody, but did you think for a moment it would be Owens?
No, because that would be stupid. Because then, basically with what with what Owens has been saying, he was just by what the Usos did, he was proven right. Everything he's been saying to Sami, they'll turn on you. You know, they'll turn on, they'll do all that. Well, he did. It's got to be the neutral party, the Switzerland, the peacemaker. Cody
Super
Rhodes,
Switzerland. Isn't that what he called himself?
Super Switzerland. Cody Rhodes, the silver-tongued devil, is going to figure out some way to talk these two former friends back together. And then everything is in alignment. You've got the family, the bloodline against the fucking babyface Avengers.
Well, there it is. And that was Monday Night Raw. And the bloodline storyline continues. It is the most intriguing thing in wrestling. It continues to be. But perhaps you want to know what's up with the rest of the show. What's up with the rest of the card? I don't pay my money. I don't spend my time on my couch watching a show just to get a few minutes of wrestling action. And even some of the other wrestling action contains wrestlers I don't want to see. Everyone else is doing it. Maybe you look at WWE and you say, I want to sue.
Boy, I think you really needed to work on that one a while. You should have workshopped that one, Brian.
Oh, damn it.
Should have run it by Reggie. But let me just explain this to you fine folks. What he's trying to do there, Brian Last is who I'm talking about.
Oh.
What he's trying to do.
Okay, not Reggie.
No, not Reggie. Brian Last. What you're trying to do is get us to the point where we can naturally bring up in the conversation your man, the man of the hour, our hero himself, the one, the only, you know who.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Still to the rest.
Folks, I'll tell you what, we've been talking about it for weeks, how Stephen P. New is going down to Louisiana and straightening out that big multi-billion-dollar energy company down there. We've talked about the opioid-addicted babies and the class action suits and the crises with the pharmaceutical companies, but we don't want you to think that Stephen P. New just takes care of the cases involving these big companies and these class action suits. He represents the little people. He's not a man that's going out there flying around on his own private airplane from place to place merely for financial gain, filing all these suits and grievances and complaints and things. He wants to help people. He wants to bring truth, justice, and the West Virginia way to the rest of the country. And that's why he's still helping the little people. So he is not drunk with power. He's drunk on moonshine like everybody else in West Virginia. But he's helping the little people. Have you heard about the latest case, Brian?
The latest case?
Oh, boy, I tell you what. There is a weaselly reprobate, a sex pest, as they would say across the pond over there in the UK, in the House he's a former member of the House of Delegates there over in West Virginia. His name is Austin Haynes. And old Austin Haynes, not Austin Theory now. Austin Haynes and the West Virginia legislature are being sued. The complaint has been filed on behalf of Jane Doe. That's how she's identified, because of the things that this Haynes character was doing to her. She was an unpaid lobbyist, a citizen advocate, a good citizen working on the passage of a Native American tribal recognition bill in the legislature over there in West Virginia, because she is a Native American descendant of the Chiraw tribe. She's a member of the Native American Indian Federation. She's trying to help support her people, do civic work, right? Guess what this delegate was trying to get her to do? If she would exchange a little nookie with him, then he would try to help her people not be discriminated against and etc. and he starts texting her. And he's asking her, do you ever use sex toys? How does that come up in a conversation between a delegate in the West Virginia legislature and a lobbyist trying to do civic work? And the text messages and the pictures and telling her that he pleasured himself looking at her pictures. All kinds of creepy stuff from this guy. And then he finally hits her with the question. Said, would you ever have sex with someone for them to support your bill if it was very important to you? And she says, no. Much like John Cena said to Austin Theory. And he said, well, I was just telling you what happens around here sometimes. So anyway, this guy harassed this woman and berated her and gave her pictures of his pee-pee and all those other things until finally she said, you know what? I'm just going to sue. And what do? When you're going to sue, you call Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. And they've already assigned a judge to this. Another of the judges asked to be recused from the case. Apparently, she may have been related in some fashion. But nevertheless, here's a quote. Here's a quote from a fellow. I'm trying to find his first name. House Speaker Roger Hanshaw says what former delegate
He sounds like a troublemaker, too.
Well, no, he's on the right side of things.
Oh,
well, maybe not. Hold on. What he says, what former delegate,
he was talking about delegates.
But what he was very delicately talking about the delegates. What former delegate Haynes is accused of doing is reprehensible in every way. Hanshaw told the West Virginia Record, this complaint, however, is neither appropriate nor is it accurate. Oh, maybe they didn't spell the word reprehensible right. You just admitted your fucking boy is a prevert, Hanshaw. Well, see, he's still running the thing. He's the House Speaker of all them preverts, so he speaks for the prevert. Well, you're going to find out that complaint is appropriate and accurate, and it's going to be profitable as well. He says, I want any victims of these alleged crimes to see justice, but it will never be served in the manner sought by the filing of this complaint. Well, maybe you should have talked to your boy Austin Haynes there, pal. Anyway, if you want to get in the newspaper, identified only as Jane or Jim Doe.
No, that's not something anyone wants to get into the newspaper for.
Well, if it's not your real name, and what difference does it make?
If you have a case where...
You know, I joined Alcoholics Anonymous. It didn't work, and I just drink under another name. But if you want to get your case brought to people who can do something about it and get a lot of publicity on the people that have pissed you off and have me knocking them publicly on the airwaves, just call Stephen P. New, newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. Haynes told plaintiff on several occasions that constituents would exchange sexual intercourse for bill passage, the complaint states.
It's like everyone's a radio promotion person.
Yeah, a little pussola.
No, there was, when, let's just say in the 1980s, radio promotion men had lots of gifts and cocaine they can give to people to get their records on the air.
Yeah.
If there was a woman promo person who could actually fuck or I shouldn't say would fuck the program director, you were screwed. Her song would get on before yours. It happened.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use names.
Pussola.
It wasn't called Pussola.
Well, if it's money, it's payola, so why wouldn't that be pussola?
Well, did we finish Stephen's? I don't know. You've degenerated this into another one of your things.
Everybody can go on now. It's newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084.